Mike's co-host from Fantasy Island, Hervé Villechaize. And their guest, the star of The Rebel, Andrew Stevens. Singer Samantha Sang. Comedian George Miller. Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood. Illusionist Michelle de la Vega. And now, here's the star of our show, Mike Douglas.
The funny side of life is often a hard place to find, and unless you have
Hollywood's most exciting couple right after this.
The other night, I went to a gala Hollywood premiere for Sir Laurence Olivier's new movie, A Little Romance. And while we were there, I had the chance to talk with Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner. Watch. When we found out about this, my wife said, "What is everyone wearing?" And it said, casual.
Casual, yeah.
Okay. So I said, everyone's going to be casual. And here the Wagners are just looking like they're right out of...
Well, we were with a group who decided that we should be dressy, so because it was so festive.
How do you decide what to wear to things?
Sir Lawrence tells us.
We do whatever the Lord says. He calls and says, "Get your act together. Don't embarrass me again."
Why are you growing that mustache, Robert?
Well, I sort of do this in between, you know, and Natalie likes it.
In between films, you mean?
Yeah. It's coming along.
I don't believe I've ever seen you with a mustache before.
I've worn mustaches and grown mustaches for different characters and stuff, but I kind of like it. In between pictures, we're off to Russia, so I sort of grew it for that trip because I thought maybe, you know, with the hat and the mustache and all of that.
Yeah, they're not liable not to let you out of their country after they see you. Who's going with you? Just the two of you?
Yes, and some friends. Tommy Thompson's coming with us, writer who wrote the article. He's written many books, and he's a dear friend. He wrote the article in Look magazine. And he's written Blood and Money, and he's just written a new book called Serpentine. Anyway.
Will you be working, or is this just a vacation?
I'm doing a show with Peter Ustinov about the Hermitage Museum.
Oh.
So we'll be in Leningrad. And,
it's the first time that they've opened up the museum in the history of the museum to let it be photographed.
All the treasures, you know.
You mean it hasn't been open to the Russian television people at all?
It's never been photographed.
Well, never to the Americans, or never to the world at large.
Do you speak Russian?
Yes.
Such a difficult language. My goodness.
It is difficult.
Oh, is it?
I think I was on your show with Sean because I just did a movie with Sean in which I play a Russian translator, so I took lessons to brush up. So it was an opportune time to go, having brushed up. So
You're Russian by birth, aren't you?
Of heritage. I mean, I was born in San Francisco, but I've never been there. This is the first time I've ever been there.
You really worked hard, though, on getting the language going again, because Natalie, you have a vocabulary of about, what, 8 or 10 years old, and then...
Something like that.
And when she started working, it was 4 or 5 hours a day. It's a very difficult language.
And it's difficult to learn, to remember the words. In other languages, you learn a word or a phrase, and it sort of stays with you. But I find that language doesn't.
Well, it's like anything. There's no one to talk to anyway. I mean, it's very difficult to practice the language.
Have you ever been to Russia?
No.
I was
Never.
there. You're going to miss America a great
I
deal.
I know. We're only going to be there 2 weeks.
Especially when you sit down to eat, you will miss America.
I heard the yogurt was very good.
The food.
You have a tremendous ear, though, for languages and for dialects. It's incredible.
I do?
Yeah, Natalie is really... We'll be around, we'll be in France for a while, and then she'll be speaking like a French woman, then we'll be in England, she'll be speaking English. It's amazing. I mean, you really do. You have a terrific ear. As a matter of fact, terrific ears, period. I mean, she's really...
What are your expectations of Russia? I mean, what do you expect?
Well, we know that, for one thing, we're not going to see much of Russia. We're primarily going to be in the Hermitage, so I hope we're going to learn a great deal about the museum, because we'll see all of the French Impressionist paintings that they have, the Fabergé collection, Catherine the Great's jewels, and her personal letters, the toys, the children's art room, and lots of other things. I mean, I know this from having read this.
Leningrad is supposed to be
magnificent city.
The Versailles of Russia.
Yeah, we were in Moscow. We didn't get to Leningrad, but I found the people to be very warm and friendly, a little reticent about talking, but and alcohol was a very big problem.
Really?
Oh yes, among the
Really?
yes. Oh yes, very big problem. And they talked openly about it to us. And
Alcoholism, you mean? Drinking?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, if you know, the vodka is right there, and it looks like water. It looks
What is that?
very harmless. That's water. It looks just like that. And these people toast. They toast anything. Hangnails. You know, just anything.
And yet I understand the movie theaters open all day. I mean, they open in the morning. There's nothing about starting at noon. That film is very terribly popular, even more so than here.
Do they know both of you there because of your motion pictures?
I don't think.
Well, they know.
They might know me because of West Side Story was very popular there.
And they know me too, but from some older pictures back. But your West Side Story ran there for,
Well, that's ancient, but I mean,
well, ran there for a long time.
yeah, it was in a festival and it was popular there. And I think also the play was there because I remember the dancers telling me that when they did West Side Story there and that for the Bolshoi, the dancers were so eager to learn, you know, the American dances, and they became friends.
Do you have family there at all?
No.
No.
No. No. But I know, I met Maya Plisetskaya, you know, when she was here, so I don't know if we'll be able to see her, but perhaps she'll be there.
We went to the Bolshoi, and during intermission, that's when I go off for the schnapps, and the two Russian leaders were there, and the man he must have had a signal at the podium, because until they actually sat in the chairs, he did not give the downbeat until they were in and sat in their box. It was very interesting to watch that. And he never turned to look at the box. He simply knew. He got a cue. They're there. They're seated. And he had the
How long were you there?
We were there for about 10 days.
Oh.
Did you do a show?
Taped a week of shows.
Oh,
It was
really?
fascinating.
That
It
must
was
have been really.
Were there Russian crews or Russians
We
on
had
it?
a Russian crew, yes. And I had a very impatient director from the States who was just used to shouting cues, and a producer who did the same thing. And the minute you raise your voice to those people, they just turn their back, and they do it.
Really? Oh.
They do it there, and when they break for lunch, you never know when they're coming back. Come back when they've finished their lunch. It could be an hour, it can be 2 hours.
Oh, we heard they were not very organized at all.
Well, you know, what have they got? They have not much incentive. You know, they're not going to improve their status much, whether they behave or disbehave. We were on a subway, and the subway is amazing in that it's a tourist attraction. It's absolutely immaculate. You don't see cigarette butts, you don't see anything. You can literally eat off the floors. It's so beautifully kept. And they were filming us going 60 miles an hour on a subway. And we got to our destination and got off. And the cameraman who was filming us, that was his train that took him home. So he just stayed on a train. And we all looked around and said, has anyone seen the cameraman? And he just went right with the train, you know. And they had to find the other cameraman. We had two of them. We couldn't start taping until they found the other cameraman.
Oh, how funny.
We have to pause for a commercial. How would you say that in Russia? We'll be right back.
Commercial?
Yeah.
Moment.
There you have it. We're coming right back.
Minutku.
You know, while at the premiere of the film A Little Romance, I had a chance to talk with some of Hollywood's biggest stars, including Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner. We recently showed you part of that interview, and here's part 2. I must comment on your TV movie, The Cracker Factory. You must have had very positive response to that.
Yes, I did. It was really wonderful, Mike, you know, because it was, I don't think that's ever happened to me in my whole life, in my career, that something that I really loved, a book that I loved, was then offered to me easily, and then the whole work experience was wonderful. The director, Burt Brinckerhoff, was fantastic. The writer, Richard Shapiro, the author, Joyce Rivetta. It was like a love affair, you know, and so that's happened sometimes. but then you don't get the sort of response sometimes. And in this case, it all happened, and it's really quite an odd experience. It's wonderful.
Then
Never had that.
those things we read about stars falling in love with a book and a story and pursuing it when other stars are after the same role. You've gone through those periods in your career, I imagine, too.
Well, I don't know about pursuing it. It's because then that's different. Then
Don't you call your agent and say, I'd like to do
well,
such
yes,
and such?
you inquire. Yes, I suppose you stay after it. But I mean, there are those who put it together and produce it, and that's another art. You know, that's something else. But to have a sort of a pure experience as an actress, you know, in a project that goes so in such a creative way and a nice way, and then to have wonderful response. So many letters, really. I think I've had more response from that show than anything I've ever done.
How do you two feel about working together in a project?
Love it.
But you don't pursue things like that. I can't recall you doing anything
Well,
recently.
we did, the last
We did
time.
with Sir Lawrence.
Yeah, with the last
Well,
time we
with
did was
Solange, but
with,
not since then.
No, we haven't done anything since then. They, you know, it's rather hard to find material that comes along that can accommodate both of us without kind of capitalizing on the fact that we're married and that. So.
Would you do a series together if it happened? If it came along?
No, I don't even do a series. Natasha and Courtney wouldn't let me. They were already grousing because I've been working too much this year.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Your daughters
yeah.
let you know about it?
we did a
yeah,
series
Natasha,
together.
for God's sake, I mean, thank God you're finished for a while.
Really? They let you know? That's wonderful.
Cut this out, you know.
Your kids say the
You're
same
getting
things I
carried
can say. Look at this. You guys, you know, you're breaking down that whole thing about Hollywood marriages. You look so, you really look happy. Like you really like each other, you know, and that, forget loving each other, you like each other. And I see you together a lot. I think that's wonderful.
But we had 2 shots at it, you know, it helps.
Does it
Maybe
really?
that's it. You replay it and correct all the things you did wrong the first time.
Do you talk about the first time and this time?
Only in jest.
It's wonderful, though, that how do you stay in love? I've been at it longer than you guys, you know.
Well, how do you do it?
I take her with me everywhere. I like her a lot.
We do that too. We
Yeah,
like
that's
to
what we
be
do.
together.
Yeah.
We like to hang out together.
That's wonderful. But when you're not working, what do you do? How do you get away from it all?
Monday, we're going on the boat with Natasha and Courtney and Katie, if she can get away from her social engagements.
And you
we
actually
go fish. We just go
you
on the
fish
boat.
and
We get
do you
away,
live on the
yeah.
boat and
Yeah,
stay?
we stay out on the boat.
Yeah.
You'd anchor out.
Sometimes we take
away from-
potatoes.
Do you?
And sometimes we take potatoes. That's a
The
dog.
dog.
We
Potatoes
went-
was in Cracker Factory.
Oh yeah. What is his breed?
Heinz.
I thought you were going to say, what did he play, you know?
He played a pitcher. That would have come right.
Then he would have really been a great dog.
What a great makeup job. They're the best, you know.
They're the greatest.
The
they're great dogs.
mongrels turn out to be the best dogs. I don't know what there is about that.
Mm-hmm.
The best dog I ever had was part German Shepherd and part Airedale, and he was.
Oh,
And I grew up with that dog. It
I
was-
had a dog that was part German Shepherd when I was a kid, named Asta, named after the dog.
Oh yeah, the movie dog. Astor was in the. Was he in our? The Thin Man. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
That would be a good series for you guys.
Thin Man.
See,
Well,
I'll
Heart to
produce
Heart,
it.
the one he's
If
doing
we
is a
did-
little like that. Heart to Heart with
you know,
Stephanie.
if we did a series, though, we'd never be home.
We'd never be home with the kids.
You're going to do a series.
do
I
this
just
on the-
read you and Stephanie Powers.
Well, I know, but that's
And it's
what,
got the flavor of the Thin Man. It's terrific. It's terrific. Called Heart to Heart.
but we work it out so that if I'm working, then Natalie's with the kids and at home, and if she's on a run for a while, then I'm there.
We try to do that. It's kind of hard sometimes, but it's what we're trying to do. So that we're not both out of the house at the same time.
You're
Good Edmund Keane.
Oh,
No.
John Gielgud.
First it was given to Edmund Keane, then it was given to Gielgud's mother, I think, who gave it to Gielgud, and then Gielgud gave it to Larry Olivier when he was doing Richard III, and had it engraved. Sir Lawrence. We call him Lord, our Lord. No, he's our friend. He really is our friend. And it said, you know, it was passed on to him in honor of his performance. And then the interviewer, I don't even know if this is true, but it's a great
It is.
story.
Tell
And they said, who do you plan to pass this on to? And he said, nobody. It's mine.
Good for him. Good for him.
Right.
That's like the guy who dreams of winning an Oscar, and instead of getting up and thanking everybody, mother, his children, just saying, I deserve this. I have worked hard, and I'm up here because I deserve it. I am great.
It's taken a long time.
Wouldn't that be refreshing to hear somebody do that just once?
Didn't somebody
say
you should have given this to me last year?
Burt might be the guy who did it.
Burt did it on the
People's Choice.
Thing.
Oh,
He was really
so funny.
Oh, he was funny anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I asked Paul Newman if he'd like to be Mario Andretti, and he said yes. And then George Hill said, but Mario Andretti would like to be Paul. But I think Paul really would like to be Mario Andretti. He said he started driving at 47, which is kind of late in life to start racing.
We started driving together. We were doing a film called Winning.
I remember the film.
And he had been hooked on automobile racing for a long time.
You got the girl in that, too, you were.
Yeah, I got his wife in that.
Yeah, you sure did. Another notch in the old belt there. Is there anyone that either of you would like to be? Look at brown eyes here.
Let me think. No, I feel okay.
Well, you should. How about you, Robert?
Well, I'm very happy with
You guys are so well adjusted, it's disgusting. We keep hearing how whacked out people are out here, and this is the most wonderfully adjusted couple. And I'm very happy for both of you. I am, indeed.
Thank you.
I'm happy that you spent a little time with us tonight. Because it wouldn't have made the evening complete without having had you two on. First time I've ever had the two of you on here together.
That's true, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
We got to make a habit of this.
I could almost co-host with you. I think I've been on so much.
Just committed yourself on national television. I'd love to have you co-host anytime you would like. Just
after Russia, maybe I'll tell about it.
There you go.
If they were any good or not, if they were nice or not.
That's right. We'll give you a movie camera to take to Russia, and you can bring back.
And you can magazine, you know.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a photographer.
Entering a new field.
You're not going to have those kind of zooms, and you know what you're doing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Still photos, Bob?
4 News Center